Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. My name is Kela Trishaan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, and mental health. So if those are some things that interest you, please click on the subscribe button below and be sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. All right, so today's video, I'm gonna be discussing some ways to avoid drama in the workplace. I think that a lot of times when we graduate from high school and college, we think that we have left the cattiness alone. There's going to be no drama in the workplace and everything's going to go smoothly. Everybody's going to be professional and friends. And I'm here to tell you that unfortunately that's not a reality. Now, I'm not trying to be negative and I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm just trying to keep it 100 based on my experiences. So having been in the workforce for a long time, I've come up with some ways to keep myself out of workplace drama. So if you are struggling with that right now, or if you know somebody that's struggling with that, please stay tuned and hopefully these tips can help you too. Okay, so my first tip is to not get involved in workplace drama. So you've got some people that may overshare information, maybe personal things that should just be kept out of the office. You've got some people that, you know, they talk about this person sleeping with that person at the job, or they, I don't know, make assumptions about how people got to their position, things like that. You want to try to avoid that as much as possible. What I've seen a lot of times is someone will be talking to me about somebody else that they're actually cool with. I don't know where they do that at. I don't do that in my personal life, but I just kind of look at it like, I'm not here to make friends. Like, I would love to make friends at work. I would love to. And I have before. Like some of the people that I talk to on a regular basis are my friends, but that's not the reason why I'm going to work. I think that a lot of just avoiding the workplace drama is just simply not engaging in it. You know, when somebody comes to me with certain information, I mean, it can be hard to get people not to do certain things, but I just don't engage in it personally. So if anything were ever to come back, you can't say Kela said anything because Kela didn't say nothing. Kela just sat there while y'all was talking. So I would say just don't fall into that trap because it can be an easy trap, and just kind of, you know, keep yourself neutral and, you know, do your job. Okay, so the second tip I have to kind of piggyback off of that is you don't overshare information. So like realistically, it's a small world, right? And, you know, I don't know, you may know people in your personal life that know your coworkers or vice versa. And I feel like sometimes when we overshare, we open ourselves up for just negative feedback and for things to get around the office that maybe you didn't want to get around the office, you know, things of that sort. So I do feel like you need to be very careful when you're sharing information. Again, I have coworkers that I consider friends outside of work. So even if we stop working together, we're going to still be, you know, keeping in contact. We're still going to be cool. So there may be things that I share with them that I wouldn't share with other people. And I think that it's important for you to distinguish the two. I definitely wouldn't get too comfortable too quick. There are times where, like, maybe if you started with somebody, you guys build a relationship because you guys started together, but you actually don't really know that person yet. So I would say before you start like really sharing information, if that's what you do, make sure that you guys have like built a friendship, you know, to do that, and just kind of watch their behavior with other people, because a lot of times that will determine how they act towards you. Like, are they coming back to you, telling you the business of somebody that they seem close to, who wouldn't want you knowing about their information? If you see them doing that, then they'll probably do that to you too. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind and just not share information or gossip about, you know, somebody else in the office or a boss or whatever. Make sure that, like, if you're saying something questionable that you don't want to get out, just make sure that you keep your mouth shut. Okay, the third tip I have is to know everyone's role and know who's close with who. The reason why I say that is because, like, for example, know everybody's role. Like, you don't want to be talking about how effed up the system is, or, you know, policies that you want to change or whatever. Like, you don't want to be talking about things that you wouldn't necessarily talk to somebody about if they're in like a leadership position. Like, you could be talking to somebody and they're a boss, or not a boss, but, you know, like they're like a manager, or maybe they're cool with certain managers or something. Like, just think about like who you're talking to before you start talking to them a certain way. There might be a way that you want to address them that you don't just address, maybe a regular employee. Not saying that you should treat anybody differently, but I think you get what I mean. Like there's some things that I may say to a coworker that I'm not going to say to a manager, things like that. So just know who you're talking to, know whose role is what, know who talks to who. So then okay, if I tell this person something, it could potentially get back to this person. Just be mindful and, check your surroundings. Honestly, the best thing to do is just not say anything. But if you have to say something, make sure you know who you're talking to. Okay, number 4 is to just keep in mind that you are here to make money. The whole reason why you are working this position, why you're even working with these people, is so you can make money to fund your lifestyle. You don't want petty drama and, gossip to get in the way of that. And I think that sometimes we can kind of create an atmosphere that is unhealthy for ourselves by just getting too comfortable. Like, remember, you are here to perform. You're here to be professional. That's what you're here for. You're not here for the extras. So sometimes being that loner at work and just kind of, doing your job, coming out on your breaks, maybe mingling on your lunch or whatever, or even eating lunch by yourself. Maybe that's what you need to do to keep yourself out of the way of, certain things. I do remember at one point in my life, I wanted to, like you want to hang with the popular people. You want to kind of just be in the mix, but being in the mix sometimes comes with its own set of like consequences. And so, if you work in an office where the atmosphere is very chatty, very gossipy, you might stand to do better by just staying neutral and just keeping to yourself. So remember that place is where you make your money, and you don't want to dirty that up. So just be careful. Okay, so my 5th tip is if you do come across any issues with any of your coworkers or superiors, make sure that you address it calmly and through the right channels. So for me, like in my personal life and at work, I'm more apt to talk to the person directly. I really don't like that middleman stuff. I don't really want to do email. I want to have a conversation one-on-one if I feel that we have an issue or some type of communication barrier. So if something is going wrong, don't let it fester. You can a lot of times clear things up by simply having a conversation with someone. And even if you guys aren't besties after, at least you cleared the air and, hopefully created better communication channels moving forward. But yeah, just be mindful of how you address people, how you come at people. Remember, you're in a professional atmosphere and you don't want to come off as the person with a temper and that has a short fuse. Just try to, just think about your communication too if you do have a problem with someone. Okay, so the last tip that I have is to not be afraid to change departments or even companies if the culture just doesn't fit. I have typically worked in a corporate setting, as I've said several times before, but there was a time when I worked for a very small startup company. And what I learned quickly about that startup company is that it just was not for me. It was not for me. I had been in the workforce for a while by the time I started working there, and a lot of the people that were there, this was their first job. So a lot of their complaints and a lot of the things that didn't make them happy were, to me, trivial. So I really couldn't relate. And the atmosphere was very catty. It was a small office. So it's different if you're working in an office of 100 people and maybe somebody has an issue with somebody else. If you're working in an office of 9 or 10 people, it's very obvious and very, on the table if somebody has a problem with one another. And it was a lot of that in that office. And so what I learned from that is that small, culture was not for me. If I am going to work for somebody else, I would rather work in a corporate setting where there is a clear set HR, there are clear set managers, everybody knows their role. It's not this person doing, management and employee, I don't do well with that kind of stuff. And so if you are in that situation where the culture is just not a fit, then it's always going to be drama. So keep that kind of stuff in mind when you're even out there looking for positions. I hope that wasn't all over the place. I don't know. I'm thinking about everything I said and I'm like, did I explain all that correctly? I hope that I conveyed the message that I was trying to. Basically, in all, I'm just saying when you go to work, you are there to make your money and you are there to create a life for yourself outside of work. Work is one part of your life. It is not your personal life. And I think that some people get that confused and they start to mesh the two, which can create drama that you don't want. So just be mindful of the way you interact with people and the things that you share so you don't end up in a situation that you don't want to be in. With that being said, that is all I have for today. So if you like videos like this, please give me a big fat thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you're looking for more videos like this and you would love to just see other content that I have coming in the future, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day and I will see you in the next video.